everyone, my name is Amy. Today I'm going to read about helping animals help Bay. Oysters in the Chesapeake Bay, off the coast of Maryland and Virginia, have been nearly wiped out, but amateur conservationists have been eagerly taking up the hobby of Holmes aquaculture in an attempt to help the struggling bivalves to recover. Chesapeake Bay, the largest estuary in the United States, has become an inhospitable habitat for the oysters, due primarily to water pollution. Since the 1970s, the bay, which once supported vast amounts of marine life, including clams, crabs, and oysters, has been the site of marine dead zones. The water quality in these dead zones is so poor that many species can no longer survive there. As a result of diminishing water quality, the oyster population has plummeted, now estimated at less than 1% of its level prior to the pollution problem. Oysters are filter feeders, meaning they can eat by straining food out to the water, a behavior that normally helps clean the water. But as oysters struggle to overcome the poor water quality, they are less and less able to filter feed, and the pollution is compounded. In addition to pollution, heavy sediment runoff into the bay have caused a drop in the oyster population. Sedimentation occurs when the land around the water erodes, usually because of the removal of vegetation. Some experts point to the salty water as the primary cause of the loss of oysters in the Chesapeake Bay because the oysters lie moribund under all the muck and able to breathe. Through the state of Maryland cultivates millions of oysters every year for use in restoration and research efforts. It became clear to scientists at the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, a non-profit environmental group, that they would need to enlist additional help if the oysters of the bay were to be saved. We realized early on this oyster restoration that if all we have a bunch of scientists and state agencies, oyster restoration wasn't going to get that far, said Stephanie Reynolds, a fishery and oyster scientist with the foundation. We needed the public. In 1997, the foundation establishes an oyster restoration program intended for volunteers who are willing to provide security to the oysters by keeping them under their home docks for 9 months and then returning them for planting on reefs on Chesapeake tributaries. Here's how the program works. In the fall, new volunteers attended a workshop where they build their own oyster cages and get a tutorial how to raise the oysters. Next program, participants to receive a few thousand spat fingernail-length baby oysters will be placed into the wire cages. Volunteers then tie the cage to dogs, leaving them just a few inches below the water, which help to protect the oysters from the silt. Volunteers must regularly haul the cages out of the water to rinse or shake any muck off of the spat to ensure the oysters can breathe. In late spring, the volunteers return the oysters, now about an inch long, to CBF, which deposits the oysters on reefs, often in tributaries that are off limits to commercial harvesting. Then in the fall, the volunteers oyster gardeners can request a new crop of spat. Organizers of the effort say the program has distributed thousands of wire cages since its inception and continues to be popular. We added people every year, and we don't have a lot of dropouts. People who have dogs always say, "Oh, I'd like to do that," said Stephanie Causes, a retired astronomer and home oyster gardener. The foundation also educates residents and business owners about the importance of cleaning historical bay, and many are taking the part of reducing pollution, sediment runoff, and habitat loss. Alongside these ecosystem restoration successes, home orchards gardening efforts are helping the orchard to recover. Every year, CBF and its many volunteers deposit anywhere from 14 to 25 million orchards on Chesapeake waste. Thanks to these and larger scale restoration efforts, billions of orchards have been planted around the bay. It's a lot of fun, guys, but also something that you can see right away helping out the bay. The Associated Press contributes this story. This is the end reading and academic definitions. Estuary means the body of water that is connected to the sea and have one or more rivers flowing into it. Moribund means the state of dying or becoming extinct. Silty means that filled with sediment. Secure means to help relieve somebody or something. This is the end with the definitions of reading about helping animals help bay in a G 2013. And my name is Emmy. Thank you for listening.